Okay, I noticed that in my past reviews, my voice was a lot louder, and that's probably, in case I haven't told you this, uh, the reason why I was loud in those past reviews is because I had severe swelling in the ear, therefore I had trouble hearing myself, and also in the vocals, which made my voice not only deeper but louder somehow. And I also spoke on because I had trouble I could barely hear myself half the time, so I learned to speak louder so I can just enough so I can hear myself. And yeah, that my ear was that bad. Anyway, I think I want to review something. What have I not reviewed? I got it. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, one of my favorite Scooby-Doo films, and most people, that's their favorite Scooby-Doo film for some reason, but this ain't my favorite Scooby-Doo film. It's actually my, one of the weaker ones, because it's a good, no getting me wrong, it's a good story, has great soundtrack, but it's not really funny. It's mostly just scary. That's one of the weaknesses of the film. One of the weakness parts of the film, this film, Zombie Island, is right, it says right there, Zombie Island. And you wonder, and the word on is a little small, so you can have trouble making out, but it's there, see? So the weakness part of this film to me is the comedy. Not just the dialogue, but also the slapstick humor is the weakest part. The slapstick isn't as bad as the dialogue comedic timing, but it's one of the parts that I'm assuming supposed to be funny is when Fred eats a cake and he says, "You know what they say, Velma? It's supernatural." Yeah, because it's cake and it goes through your body, and then investigating supernatural appearances on the island. Anyway, so I probably should talk about the plot. Scooby-Doo is not in this enough, by the way. I wish he was in it more, and same goes for Shaggy, because I felt like if these two had, but their screen time is barely in on the screen, Scooby and Shaggy, and that's really sad because they're really the only two things that are funny about this film. And I know some people find them annoying, which I can understand to a certain extent, but here they're in the film way too little, and don't give it really good enough time for the comedic time to shine. I mean, the funniest part is when they run into the zombies, and because after having ghost peppers, and they run into the zombies, and that's the funniest thing in this film. The rest is just goosebumps and mystery that you need to unsolve, and mostly it's just meant for, the film feels like it's mostly meant for scares than rather to make you laugh. And I don't know, that's not what Scooby is about. You're supposed to laugh, but you're not. Maybe I would get, most time I would get a chuckle, like a laugh, but only one time it got me laughing was when Scooby-Doo and Shaggy were having the ghost peppers, or when Scooby his reaction to a cat, because he hates cats. He turns out and he goes into his pure animal instinct, chasing cats, and there's a lot of cats in it, and yeah, those cats become possessed at the end. So now the cats are chasing, it ends on a cliffhanger, or in a confused note, where the cats are possessed and have this pet cemetery symptoms, and ends up with Scooby screwed. Well, that was kind of funny, but I found more creepy than funny. Because, oh great, the cats are going to kill wait, you're going to end it on that note? And because I have OCD, it's just, it's just I can't help but wonder what happened. Did Scooby survive, or did he got eaten by the cats? Like it's Cheese Dad at the end. So you're never going to know. Maybe they'll answer that question in the sequel, Return to Zombie Island. But now the animation is fantastic. It's the best animation in a Scooby-Doo film, even to this day. Even better than the straight to movie and the CGI animation. I don't know why, but the animation looks clunky and not smooth like this animation in Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Compared to Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Maybe that was intentional or to make the slapstick more funny. But I just gotta say, this is the smoothest animation Scooby-Doo has had. And the most natural move where Scooby-Doo has ever moved in the animation. And I think that might be probably the one of the weaknesses. I like the animation, but it's kind of weak. It might be part of the reason why I think one of the reasons why the film's not that funny is because the animation feels a little too good. It's the same problem with Eight Crazy Nights, Adam Sandler's 8 Crazy Nights suffer from this film. Except that film at least made me teary-eyed, so I could kind of forgive it. And how it ends. This is just no serious emotional weight in this film. Just scares followed by really bad comedy that Shyamalan would be proud of. And that's just awful. I have to comment him. So yeah, I'm going to talk about the story. Anyway, the gang splits up and has a little bit of a time jump several years later, like 5 years, 5 or 2 years. I don't know. I think like 5 years since the gang seen each other in person, but they still see Daphne, Blake, and Scooby and Shaggy have regular jobs at a store, and they get fired because they decide to snack on the food. Now that was a really funny scene. that was a funny scene in the film. The delivery, the payoff, the build up. Because you know what's going to happen if you know these two guys. You just wish that there were more things in there that was like those comedic scenes, but this not. I don't know. It's like this film had two writers. You have one writer who can actually make funny happen, and the second writer who cannot make funny happen. And the second writer dominates the first writer in most of the shines and throughout the runtime of the comedic timing throughout the film. Still, there's nice cool twists and turns. So anyway, the gang gets back together to work on our legit real ghost case for a Daphne Blake show. And it's all in court. It's all set up and surprised by Fred's idea to bring the gang back together, because Daphne and all the other gangs feeling nostalgic for each other. And so they get back together and for one last ride. And they invite to this island by this really attractive girl who is late to reveal one of the bad guys, including her aunt. And including the guy called Jeff, who transported them to a zombie island. And first seems pretty normal, but Shaggy's the weirdest. Shaggy's the one that starts to know there's something off about the island, and then Velma catches on, and then the rest of the gang starts catching on. There's something off about the island that maybe the people were saying the island's haunted is that they were telling the truth, and they found they were telling the truth. Well, partly the truth. See, the twist is that the zombies, which they're trying to warn them to get off the fucking island, so that they don't make the same mistakes that they did, which is manslaughter, gang manslaughter. So the people who invited them to the island It's all just a elaborate diabolical trap to get manslaughter by the people who invite them on there. The aunt, that guy who drove them to the island, and they tried to go that Fred flirts with. And it turns out she felt the same way, but she's got to do what she got to do to stay young and useful and alive. Because if they have to commit this ritual every year. But if they don't commit this ritual every year, they'll turn into ashes. All three of them, and they do, because the gang gets out whipped by Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. Comedic timing that's more awkward than funny. So, and the gang's trying to raisins, including Shaggy. Scooby-Doo saves the day with the help of being a cowardly, clumsy dog. But it doesn't feel funny as much as it feels awkward and all these weird feelings you shouldn't be feeling that I don't think the writers want you to feel. And the tiny gang, something very truly disturbing about the gang truly decaying right before your eyes. And then Shaggy, when Shaggy's saved and the gang's saved, he says, "Well, I was trying to feel like a raisin." It's kind of funny, but it's kind of also really sad in a way. It's funny and sad and creepy. So creepy. So the gang wins the day and uses the voodoo dolls on them instead of the voodoo doll on the gangs. And the guy who's the gardener, turns out he was a cop the entire time, and Velma treated him like a suspect because he was a suspect. And want to know why? It's not because of his suspicious behavior, it's because the way he looks. Okay, that's the second funniest thing, because Velma's a complete dumbass in this. And it's also because he's quiet. He could just be shy. And it turns out he was an FBI agent working on a case for several years. And he doesn't think and superiors are going to believe the story, or anyone else is going to believe, or anyone from the gang, original mystery game is going to believe them. So it ends on that note, and Scooby-Doo and the gang leaving the island, and the possessed cats that were the two bad guys, aunt and daughter of the aunt and her niece, not her daughter, her niece. The cats, or army of cats, wants revenge for killing them, and you got the feeling that Scooby's not going to make it out of this, is he alive? Is he? And he says, "Cats? Oh, nuts!" Because he knows what's coming. His meeting with the Undertaker. This film is this bizarrely scary, but it's fun at the same time. It's not funny like I want it to be. So it's still an awesome flick on its own. Just not an awesome Scooby flick on its own. Because Scooby's supposed to be, he's supposed to get this. They got the horror element, the horror atmosphere down right. But they didn't quite, they were focused more on the horror and telling good mystery element down, and but they forgot the comedic timing that Scooby and the gang was capable of in the original show, and also in pretty much every other Scooby film except this one, and Incarnation also. And even Scooby-Doo, the show Mystery Incorporated, I like that show. But my problem was with that show, it didn't really seem like it was, it felt like it was more, it felt like it was like it felt like it forgot to incorporate the elements of laughter into that brilliant show. And it's a really good show, but it suffers from the same problem this has. That you forget, okay, you can tell a good story, you tell a good mystery, you can give us some good scares, but there's also supposed to be laughter in that element, in those elements, all together. And that's, I think, what makes Scooby-Doo special, is that they somehow incorporate all the elements mix all the elements up into one and make it work. And I'm just going to say I like Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost a lot more than this, because, well, to me, that's just as scary and has just as good story and has just a good mystery as Zombie Island. But the thing is, that movie made me laugh. I want to laugh in Scooby movies or shows. Like, the original show had really good laughter and good mysteries and good stories and good all-around good character traits and character interactions, and also scare elements. But it was not just like one thing that made Scooby-Doo special, the original show, and what still makes them special to this day, is all three of those, the mystery, the scares, the comedy, colliding together is what made Scooby special in my case. And I don't know, this is kind of embarrassing, because this is my least favorite thing that Scooby-Doo has come up with next to Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, because it almost makes me embarrassed to be a Scooby-Doo fan. So I'm giving this next thing, look, I guess I can understand why people got nostalgic over this growing up, but there were way more better Scooby-Doo movies after this. A lot more, and there were better Scooby-Doo movies before this. So, I'm giving this... Oh boy, I feel like a total douchebag right now. I guess this is what it means to be a critic. I'm giving Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island a 6 out of 10. Even though I really love it, I've seen it like a million times, over a million times, a lot over a million times, I just gotta be honest with myself, it's not that great of a film when it comes to Scooby standards, and I don't know, I want to laugh in Scooby when I watch Scooby-Doo. Besides just being creeped out and being blown away by a good mystery they told and a good story with great characters that are always likable every time, even the not so good ones. And that's all. I still say it's worth checking out if you're just curious or you want to watch something around Halloween time to give you spook, to give you goosebumps. But just don't expect that you're going to laugh hard, because you're just going to end up disappointing yourself. That's all.